knitting's not like that.
Why?
Well, because it's really hard to pick up because you have your stitches on, like you have your two knitting needles, and you have your stitches on one, and then you're basically transferring over to this side, and then you transfer over to this side, and you just keep going back and forth. And if you lose one and not know it, like your whole project would completely come apart.
Oh, I see. So my girlfriend does. She does not knitting,
Crochet.
crochet, and she'll go Jesus or GD
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
in the middle of her project. She's like knitting a whole scarf, and I gotta restart.
I love it. She
She
crochets.
does when she has the time to do it.
So we might not necessarily golden leaves, but so obviously Babs crochets. I crochet. Alexis also crochets, or she's starting to learn how to crochet. So we're trying to like get a little group.
Who's
Not very
Alexis?
official. Oh, the chiropractor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I sent Babs this meme of a giant crocheted octopus squid thing. It was huge. And it said, "Now I need a giant crocheted octopus in my house." And so I sent it to both of them actually. And I was like, "Look, group project."
They about
I'm
had a
like, "I'll
heart
take a
attack, huh?
tentacle."
One.
One tentacle. I'll take one tentacle. Babs can do like the main like head. I'm pretty sure it's a squid, not an octopus, but
What was she crocheting that day? Do you know?
a blanket.
A blanket. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't have patience for that. I can do hats. I can knock out some hats like nobody's business. I have the cutest little turkey. Oh man, I should have done that. I still have time.
Wait, did you crochet a turkey hat?
I crocheted a turkey hat. Yeah, it was literally the cutest thing ever. I'll
What's
have
a
to show it to
turkey
you.
hat?
Oh man, now I gotta look it up. Anyways, do your introduction. I'll look this up.
She's giving me directions on my podcast now. Welcome to the Traveling Businessman, sponsored by Crab Marketing, and we have Golden Lee's, Miss Samantha or Sam, if you know her. I still call her Samantha.
It's okay.
And we have the Shinny Gamer on soon. He's coming back this Sunday. We have a big podcast I'm doing tomorrow called with Bullhorn Creative. We actually did a podcast before, but my audio bugged out. So we're going to do another one where I get even better this time. So watch out for that one. And I'm not sure what else I got on the docket. I know
Oh,
we have our normal one on Sunday with all the career marketing teams, so look out for that one. That one's going to be fun. Well, not so much fun because Patrick's got a story. I don't know if I'll tell my story today or on Sunday, but I went to court Tuesday for my mom. So if you don't have a mom, you won't have to go to court probably.
that's hysterical. Or maybe that's why you're going to court because you no longer have a mom.
Oh no, I wish. No, I'll just play. She would kick my ass. She saw that. No,
Mama Corey.
this whole endeavor. You saw how big that lady is. You know.
Heck yeah, man. I'm
know.
pretty sure she can snatch you with that without even moving.
She used to. She used to before her
Nah,
knees
it's
bucked
still
out.
there. Nah, it's still there.
She's on crutches now, so I can
Oh,
I can mess
no.
with her now.
Well, now she got a crutch. Now her reach is longer.
I stay out of. I've always stayed out of her reach because her arms are longer than mine.
Her reach is longer now. Man, I hate Facebook. It just keeps messing things up, so I don't know. But I'll find it for you, and I will show you. I'll send it to you. A little turkey hat. Any of my followers who still has their turkey hats from back in the day, feel free to send me a picture.
Did you give out turkey hats?
I mean, I didn't give them out. I sold them. They're really cute. They're like brown hats and has like a little nose, like or a beak. No, whatever. It's my imagination. It's a little nose, little orange nose, and it has like its little gobble, whatever. I just call it a gobble. And then it has like the little eyes, and then it has like little like curly feathers up top, and it has like the ears. Yeah, it's super cute. And I've made that. I've made Minion hats. I've made Angry Bird hats. I made a Peppa Pig hat one time, and that literally went against everything that I believe in
What's that?
as far as symmetry. She was like, I want it to look just like the cartoon. And I was like, just like the cartoon?
I thought you had something
Like,
against Peppa Pig for a second.
no,
'Cause
no.
you have
Well, I mean,
kids.
I don't really know Peppa Pig because my kids weren't into Peppa Pig or
You got lucky.
the, yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
I'm
I hate
also,
Peppa Pig.
I also noticed that I missed the Caillou train too. I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
But Peppa Pig has like her nose is out to the side and then her eyes are
Right.
here, right? And anywhere that she moves, it always the same thing. So for me, I'm like, okay, like nose, eyes, right? No, they wanted it to look like the cartoon, so they wanted it with the nose out here and the eyes here.
Oh,
And I was
Lord.
just like, this looks like a mess. And they loved it.
It was accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they loved it, yeah.
They loved it. And I'm like, all right.
Speaking of
Whatever.
creativity, so on the last podcast, I found out her name was Adelaide, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought her real name was Babs.
No, so her name is Adelaide Rabbit. That's her middle name.
Rabbit.
Yes.
Oh,
And so-
oh, now I get it.
Yeah. So she had a different, I can't remember what it was. She tells me she had a different nickname growing up. But then it like as she got older it transferred to Babs. She doesn't really go by Adelaide. I mean she does, that's her name.
Right.
But like as far as and I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like I was introduced to her as let's see. No, she was introduced as Adelaide, and I was just like, Adelaide, because I knew I was going to mess up the name. And she's like, you can just call me Babs. I'm like, that's it. Babs it is.
Well, I thought Blaze was a nickname, but that turned out to be his real
No,
name.
that's his
I'm like, I am
name.
messing
Yes, I
things
call
up.
him Blase. Blase.
That's such a cool name. He said he didn't like it for a while, but I like it. It's pretty cool.
I mean, it's fire, quite literally.
Right? I thought that too, but I didn't want to say it. I wonder how many times he's been told that.
It's like the third time I have snorted this week. Oh my God.
So she brought up those. She said there was an old couple that'd be great for the podcast.
Oh.
I met them yesterday.
Oh, Bruce and Wendy?
Yes, yes, they are the most welcoming people I ever met.
Yeah.
They treat it like it was their shop. And
Oh, yeah.
I came in, talked to them. He had carved out some pumpkins that were awesome.
Oh, I missed
They
all
were
that.
so cool.
They must have came in like right as I was leaving. I was trying to hold on, but they're awesome. I've been serving them since downtown. They've been coming like when it was Four Sisters downtown, so they've been coming for quite a few years. I've been serving them for quite a few years.
They are faithful. And
They
they are so fun to talk
They are.
to.
They are so nice. They're high energy, but they're
Very.
very very nice.
They have more energy than I do.
Yeah.
I walked in and he said, "Hey, they both said, hey, how are you doing?" He said,
Yeah.
"You want to see these?" So all of a sudden, before I even got to order my coffee, I'm talking about his cool carved pumpkins.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get your hands on those before Halloween, oh my goodness, they were
Yeah,
awesome.
I remember him telling me about that. Yeah, that's why if you look around the shop and you see all the origami swans, those are all from Bruce.
Oh, I see. Those
Yeah,
are nice.
so they're over there and then they're over there. So they've kind of gravitated. Over there. I'm gonna have a scavenger hunt one day.
yeah,
and
'cause I
I-
sure did notice
And I
those.
told him, I was like, you can't make any more though. If I'm gonna have people guess how many swans are here, or cranes. Sorry, they're cranes. But we had more actually in the very beginning, and then the beginning of this year when we redid part of the dining room. My mom's like, "What is up with all of these?" And she just started throwing them away, and I was like, "Whoa." I'm like, those are from Bruce, and we collect them. It's like an unspoken like collection. It's like, yeah, do people maybe consider that clutter? I mean, yeah, probably, but
But the
it's a part of
origami? No.
Bruce. You know what I mean?
It actually looks like
it's part of it.
it's part. Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like a little nature.
Well, I
thing.
mean, Bruce and Wendy were a big part of Four Sisters moving here. They were big investors in that. So we tend to be a little bit more forgiving with them. Even though now that I own it, I've had to kind of like tighten the reins a little. But they're awesome. I'll have a couple people in here and they'll have the whole entire dining room talking, you know.
I can see that.
They'll talk to everybody, little kids, and even though I've been serving them for so long, we still have different conversations every time that they come in. Wendy is from England. She grew up as a little girl in England, so she is very familiar with tea. And she was a seamstress. She made costumes out in Vegas.
She was talking about that yesterday.
Yes, she was a graphic designer, and so she worked with a lot of artists and companies. And they also ran like a Taco Bell chain out. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. And then Bruce, he was in Vietnam. And they're so sweet for people who they have so much history. And if you have grandparents, or like, sit down and
Yes.
bring them a cup of coffee or a tea and listen to their stories, like, truly, really listen. Have them repeat the same stories over and over again because they're going to tell it a little bit differently next time, or they
Right.
forgot something, but man, I miss those days when you would just sit and talk to people and not, like, be so sucked in on your phone. And
Yeah. That's the only time I can get them to do that is on the podcast.
Yeah.
Now, if I can open them up and start talking, and let them understand that it's okay to talk about yourself, because in this society, it's not really okay to just go around talking about yourself.
Right.
So they bundle that in. But they come on a podcast, they get loose, they start talking about the history. It makes such a good podcast. If I can get my grandmother to get on camera because she wants to put on her wig and put on her makeup.
Ooh, yes,
Like, Grandma, you
girl.
are 68.
So
Let it go.
nah,
Let it go.
please.
Because she has the greatest stories of all time. The greatest. Because if you grow up in a shitty place like Ohio, you've got stories for days. As she did.
There's a shitty place everywhere.
Yeah, but the whole state of Ohio is shitty. I hate that place. I went there to play football. It sucked. The food sucks. Everything sucks there.
Oh, damn. Ohio.
Ohio's bad. You ever been?
We've ventured in. Let's see. One place of remembrance, and collectively, our dance team would all agree. This is the dance moms would agree. Lima, Ohio, is definitely on our bucket list as far as not to go back ever. I guess it's not really a bucket list item,
Right.
but it's like list of places to avoid.
Blacklist.
Like, literally every year, our studio director is like, we're gonna go to Ohio, and then the office manager is all like, not Lima. Meanwhile, I'm all like, is that where Glee was?
Probably. It's so bad there.
Is it Lima?
It's in Ohio. That's all that really matters.
In the middle of nowhere. That was a miserable time. Their AC wasn't working. It was so hot. There were so many girls.
Sounds about right.
Oh man, there was just a lot going on.
Let me tell you how good Jax is at making coffee.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
You
I'm
had
telling
coffee
you.
yesterday?
I did. I was like, I really need some coffee. That court really took everything out of me. So I came in here and I said, well, I didn't even say hi. I looked at him and he said, what do you want? I said, well, at least say hi first, Jax. And so he laughed. He
Why
said,
are you here?
he said, what do you want? I said, okay, I'm not getting a high today. I want a good coffee. And he said, black? I said, never black. And he said, you want a latte? I was like, you know what? Yeah, just make it good.
Just make whatever.
So he made me a caramel latte, and it was so good.
Nice.
Oh my! It puts Purdy's to shame. I'll
Ooh,
tell you that.
oh.
Just Jax's coffee alone. And this is the second time I've had his coffee specific. I think they made the white mocha last time. White mocha coffee.
Okay.
You gotta try your own employees' coffee. You have to.
I do. That's
Oh
part
my
of their
goodness.
training. I literally am just like, what haven't you learned today? Oh, okay. Let's make me one of those. And that's how they learn the kitchen. Because I'm like, obviously sometimes
That makes
when I
sense.
need to train, I don't have a table. And I'm like, fuck. or I have too many tables and it's not a time to be training.
Right. Right.
So what winds up happening is I will starve until they walk in, and I'm like, yay, I'm so hungry, and now it's time for you to learn how to do food.
Feel that. People really like your chicken salad.
I know. I get that a lot. I love it too.
I keep hearing that. They're like,
Chicken
you gotta try
salad.
it.
I like. We don't have tuna salad here. We have chicken salad, and I used to make the tuna salad when it was Four Sisters. But I'm so picky when I go to restaurants, and I'm like, "Ugh, yeah, I'm kind of in the mood for a chicken salad, but I'm like, I don't know how you make it, you know?
Right.
Like, I don't like celery, so if there's celery in it, that's done for me. I don't like celery, so I don't put celery in my chicken salad. I don't put celery in my tuna salad. And I know people are going to be like, what? You don't put, no, I put relish in it instead. There's a secret ingredient for you. You still have the crunch, but you actually have flavor instead of this stringy mess of nothing. Who like
I don't
why?
like celery
Celery's
either.
gross. And my mom's always like, it don't even taste like anything. I'm like, it tastes like everything.
It
It's
tastes like a
awful.
lot. It's a strong plant taste.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm
neither.
glad there's somebody else who don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know how you can eat celery and make it taste like nothing. It's got the strongest plant taste of
I
them
feel
all.
that. Yeah. There's not a lot of things like I don't like mushrooms, but if I'm eating like a chicken marsala, like I'm not going to be like no mushrooms because the mushrooms make the dish, you
Right.
know? So I'm like you can leave it in if I wind up eating one, not a big deal, but I'm not going to like go out of my way to eat the mushrooms. I'll just pass that along to my husband's plate. But like celery is a no-go. Rye seeds are also a no-go. I can't do rye seeds. I can pick that out. You can put one rye seed in like an entire dish, and I'm like, who put rye seeds in this? I don't know what it is, but I've always been that way.
So how'd you come up with putting honey in your chicken salad? Is that from Four Sisters?
It is from Four Sisters, so they already had like their stuff, and it wound up getting to the point where at the time we had a vendor who was supplying the chicken salad, and we couldn't get it consistent, and so I was just like, why don't we just make it ourselves? I mean, it solves that problem, Then you
Right.
have the consistency of it. It took a little bit to convince to make the transition.
Right.
But then that's pretty much how it happened. And I was like, well, let's just do it ourselves. And then the same thing happened with the tuna. It's always easier to have it, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I feel like if you can't get it anywhere else, that's the whole point, isn't it? You come here because I got the best chicken salad. People have asked, like, if they can buy it. And I'm like, what I would have to charge you with the way grocery prices are, I'm like, nobody would buy it by, like, the pound or
They
whatever.
might. They might. If they go to Straight from Texas Barbecue and buy just a plate of their food, they'll buy your chicken salad. Because you know how much I spent on 6 wings, a little thing of coleslaw, and
Like $12.
$12.65.
Yeah.
The nacho I got the next day, which is the last time I
For
went.
chicken nuggets, glorified chicken nuggets.
Man, and then I went to get the nacho. I mean, it is brisket, but I got like this much brisket on my nacho, and they spread it around right with. I had more chips than anything else.
Right.
At the end, it was chips, and that was $12.65 too.
No, see,
I was
those are
like,
not
good
nachos.
Lord, I cannot go back.
Yeah, that's no. Your nachos, there has to be a good ratio going on. And the bottom needs to be like soaking up all the juice from everything and the cheese and sour cream but when I'm left with more nachos and I'm done with my toppings, it's a sad day.
I was done with my toppings in 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah,
it didn't
that's a
take
sad
me
day,
long.
especially with brisket. Oh man.
Right, you want that brisket.
Well, that's the hard thing, and that's the hard thing that we've been struggling with here. It's like, well, we everything is measured. Like, we do a lot of measuring around here so that things stay consistent. But at some point, you can't really skimp anymore without messing with quality.
Right.
So then you're forced to have to raise your prices. And, that's like credit card fees too. Like, everyone's all like going on and on about like, oh, credit card fee. I've seen them so many times, especially when, is it Mammoth? Mammoth.
That's
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
You called me off guard. I have no clue.
Mammoths. I don't know. It was that new restaurant over where Hangers and Village 18 used to be.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, off exit 90. Okay, whatever. But everybody was going crazy because they were like, "Oh, there was an extra fee on there. They didn't tell me." And I'm like, "Okay, well, they messed up on that because you have to clearly have a sign posted that says that you charge a credit card fee."
Right.
Now, that credit card fee may or may not actually cover the whole credit card fee on that bill. Now, obviously, the bigger the bill, yes, it does. But when I have the transaction, I want to say is like 3 point something percent plus 30 cents. So, do I really want to be like Hitler and be like, no, you have to spend a minimum because of the credit card fee? People try to come in and they'll get like a candy bar or the stickers. And I'm like, I no longer made any money on that because your dollar purchase is 4 cents that you are paying the credit card fees 4 cents, but I'm actually dishing out 34 cents.
Right.
So I didn't make any money on that. I lost money on that. Um, so people don't necessarily understand, and they'll be like, "Well, just throw it into your prices." And I'm like, and so y'all can bitch about the prices
Right.
going up too.
Right.
So I just try to be very transparent. All of my customers seem to appreciate that. They're like, "Listen, I'm not trying to pull a fast one on anybody, but you like what's going on here? I'm gonna need to survive."
Right. Now, I understand that. I mean, transparency has become a really big thing for customer and owner transaction, especially since we have the rise of small business owner or supporting small business owner. We already had a lot. We had a lot more before COVID. But the fact that people are transparent and honest with them is something people haven't experienced in the last forever.
Right.
You know?
Well, yeah, because people think that, oh, well, if they're not complaining or if they're not saying that they're struggling, then they're not struggling. They must be doing really well.
Right.
And I know closer businesses who have closed, and people are just like, well, if they would have just said something. And so sometimes as a business owner, you're like, okay, but if I said something, would it have made a difference? You don't know because if you don't say anything.
Right.
And so I've noticed that other business owners who are around me, are kind of taking that as a lesson. It's like, oh, okay, I'm listening. Your customer base is saying, if you would have told me that you were struggling, but at the same time, why does it have to come to
Right.
struggling?
Why does it have to come to that?
Why does it have to come to that for you to be like, oh, I'll buy a gift card, or oh, I'll come
Right.
and nah, we want your continued and consistent support, not your pity sales. Like I know that
Exactly.
sounds really bad, but it's true. Like if all you can do is once a year, that's fine. That's fine. But I I feel conflicted, which is why I guess I just go with the transparency because as much as I don't want your pity sales, if that's what's going to make me through another day so that I could maybe make you a consistent customer now, then, you know, selectively I'll bite the bullet on that.
No, I mean, you gotta do what you got. Here's one thing I was talking to my accountant about is the weird feeling that I get when people post online about another business closing, and a lot of those posts have been coming a lot more after COVID. You know, before COVID, you didn't see it as much, but around here is this weird excitement that another business closed. Do you know what I mean? Like they'll post on, I love Madison County, like another one bites the dust, and everyone starts commenting like, "Oh, I
Oh
wanted
my
to go to that
God,
place."
yeah.
That
Trolls
is so
unite.
weird to me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. When the whole Nerdscape thing happened, I immediately, which of course we didn't know what was going on, but I immediately was on the front lines and was like, they're not closed. What are you talking about? Like, I literally just talked to them like 2 weeks ago, and they were putting out signs. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so, thankfully, I didn't have to shoot myself in the foot. That's all I said. And I was driving. So I actually had to like stop. Like I was running an errand and I was like, let me stop and handle this. So I went on there and I got pretty salty. I mean, I was still nice about it, but I was salty because it's every day.
Right.
Every day we hear people walk this mall. Oh, it's a shame that there's nothing in here anymore. What do you mean there is nothing in here?
Right.
You're in here telling me how there's nothing in here. Like, this goes back to, is everyone just working with my delusions? Like, is this not really happening? And everyone's just like, we're just going to let you do you, Sam. We're not going to interrupt your life. You seem happy, whatever. But we hear it all the time. And the number one thing that was going on that post was somebody, I wish I knew a name because I would slay out names. I hate when people do that. When they want to say something, but they don't want to, like, expose somebody for their ratchet words. I'm like, nah. You had the balls to say it, then your name's about to get slaughtered all over the place.
I say it too. I say the names too.
Yeah,
You gotta hold
yeah.
people
I'm not
accountable.
protecting nobody. You didn't care, so I'll go savage on that. I don't remember her name, but anyways, she specifically was like, it's just laziness.
I remember
They
you
don't
talking
they
about
don't they don't advertise, and it's just lazy. Now, don't get me wrong. Can everybody collectively be better at marketing? Yes. Can everybody afford to be better at marketing? Depends on your budget. Is there a budget for everybody? Yes. Even if it's free,
Right.
that just means, guess what? Guess who's putting forth more work? Yourself. If you can't afford to pay somebody to do it for you, that means you have to learn. You have to seek out the education to get you somewhere, at least to an understandable point on how to drive whatever it is that you need to drive. But for people who have no concept of marketing and advertising, and then to tell a bunch of store owners that the reason why they're failing is because they're being lazy, I like lost my crap. Like, I was like, you know what? No, not today. I'm gonna leave that alone. I say that a lot. I literally will be like, you know what? No. No. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it, Sam. But the frustrating part with all of that is everyone thinks that they know, but nobody can
Right.
actually give you a solution.
Exactly.
Okay? So
I'm all about solutions.
these businesses that have not made it, the problem is it's the consistency. It's not, yes, it is the laziness, but you can't collectively say it's just laziness for everybody.
Right.
It's laziness because the consistency is not there. If you have shop hours and you're not open during your advertised shop hours, that's a problem. Whether you're lazy, shit happen, family, whatever, like, I get that. Shit happens. Shit sure does happen. Shit happens for me. Like, but you can't just sit there and pretend like nothing will ever go wrong. Why are you laughing?
Because you know why I'm laughing. You know exactly why I'm laughing.
What'd I say?
You know what you said.
Oh, to be open during your hours? I know that's a misdirect, but I swear there wasn't a hidden agenda on that one.
Oh, that's just funny.
But seriously, the number one reason why these stores have not made it in here is because they're not open. So if you're not open, how can you work on advertising or marketing when you're not even open? You have to start baby step. Number one, be open. Number two, know what your business represents. So whatever that is, you don't have to be like everybody else. Just what makes you you, what makes you your business. If I say your name, people should automatically be like, oh yeah, that's the blah, blah, blah place.
Right.
You know? If, whatever, you have to know what, I'll say selling, but I hate the word selling. Because if you're passionate and you know what your business represents, you don't have to sell your crap. Because that's how good it is. That's how authentic you are. That's the word I was trying to look for.
Right.
I was having a hard time in my brain trying to remember that word. If you're authentic in your business and you're not trying to be anybody else, there's no problem.
Right.
9 times out of 10, I don't say anything about my products when people walk in because it's not about me. It's not my time to be like, look what I did today. Now, when people come in and they're like, do you make all of this? And I'll be like, yes.
Right.
Now, that's the time for me to be like, yes.
That's rewarding for you too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's me. I'm like, yes, they're noticing, you know? And that's what makes us authentic, is because we do make it. Because I have my workstations. People come in, they see me with the soap loaves, they see me with the candles, they see me with the bottles, they see me with they see it happening, and so they don't question that it's not being made there because they're witnessing it. You know what I mean? So that's what makes us, they come to the back, they see the jars of leaves, they see us drinking drinks. You know, for a minute I was all like, guys, we can't have our drinks, da 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 da. But I finally kind of like embraced it a little bit. We're not careless when we have our drinks and stuff, you know, but we are intentional with it. So I'm actually going to make pins for them that says, ask me what I'm drinking, so that it could be a conversation starter. Because, hello, we are a tea shop. To not see us drinking our own product is weird.
That's cute.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
I thought of it all by myself. But that's the number one thing. And I know we've talked about doing like little mini workshops, and I think that's imperative. So that is where the laziness will come in, because
If they don't show up,
because then it's coming out of their comfort zone. And nobody said anything was supposed to be comfortable. If you don't feel a little butterfly in your stomach every day, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
You're doing it wrong. There's no motivation, there's no drive. If you are not feeling a little bit of anxiety when you deliver a product or whatever, you know, then I make drinks. I've made these drinks thousands of times. Every time I make it for a customer, I'm like, you like it? You like it? Yeah, awesome. You know, like I'm all like, oh, because you know now, I know you've seen that one couple, the guy with the pregnant wife, because y'all have been in here a couple of times.
She was super pregnant.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for it.
She's got like 3 babies in there.
She got 2 babies.
Oh, she does?
She's 2 babies, yeah.
I was guessing, but yeah, her stomach is giant.
Oh,
She's gonna
she
pop.
looks good. Yeah, she's ready. I've already seen it. It's dropped. But he comes in. He's at the point now, because he's doing the World Tea Club too. So he's at the point now where he's like, just surprised me. So I'm like, okay.
Oh, is he close to the end?
He's not close to the end, but he's kind of getting to the point where
Wait, is he close
it's
to
getting
me?
a little harder. No, when did you started in April, right?
I got 42.
He started in August. So
Okay.
he's 4 months behind you, but he comes in quite often too. So he might be in his 30s.
Step it up. I'm going to have to step it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm about 2 every Saturday.
Oh,
Put Chrissy's
snap.
on mine from now on.
No.
She goes to college. She gets free tea. Okay, you can put hers on mine. But speaking on that, when it comes to the marketing thing, I just looked at some books recently in here, and part of it is, like we said, if I do the workshop, part of it is just the education part. Right? There's some parts you, as a business owner, I don't know everything.
Right.
There's Patrick said you got to bring in an electrician, and you know everyone does. So I work on being that electrician for people, and I looked at some books and I was like, this is a lot of money on advertisement.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, but it wasn't effective though.
Right.
So what I did was shave it down, and I got the same numbers targeted for $85 versus the $600 this person had spent.
Right.
So you could have saved $500 to reinvest into your company with someone who knows what they're doing.
Right. And if you think about the different avenues of marketing or advertising, and this is another one of the comments, few of the comments that people were saying, they were like, oh, there's TV, oh, there's newspaper. Okay, let me ask.
Not TV.
How
ratings.
many people in our target market, okay, my target market here is a little broader. I pretty much can hit anybody.
Right.
And the fact that I am a little younger, I tend to attract people a little bit more in my generation, I guess you can kind of say. But I have a lot of different elements going on. So I also collaborate. Collaboration with other businesses is like ideal key.
That's how I found out about you too.
Who'd you find out from?
You posted on I Love Madison County.
Oh, okay.
And I don't remember who you were collaborating. I think it was Nerdscape. posting about their soaps. So that's how I found out about Nerdscape too. But I came in here
I did
because
their
I messaged
candles.
you. Yeah.
But it probably was their scavenger hunt. Because I did get quite a few people. I did get quite a few regulars from that day. And it was awesome. It was freaking awesome. Mental note. I need to go see if they'll do something. Maybe not officially Nerdscape, but it
Right.
was great. It was great. Anyway, sorry. Tangent. Ways of marketing, newspaper. The only people who are actually reading the newspapers, yeah, okay, you might be in my age group, but the majority of the people who are still actively, physically holding a newspaper are the older generations. They're like 60 plus.
Hey, my grandma gets on Facebook. She doesn't have no newspapers.
You know, but for as far as like the average or the majority, like a lot of those people are in the 60s. They were basically raised with the whole cup of coffee and
Right.
the newspaper morning breakfast kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like that literally was part of their morning routine. Same with TV. Nobody really. If you have cable TV, 9 times out of 10, it's because of sports, or it's because of like early morning news or whatever. But as far as active viewing, the majority of people have Netflix, Hulu, Disney, whatever, Peacock. I mean, who actually has cable that is fully utilizing 100% and doesn't have any additions with apps, with
Yep.
streaming apps?
And those are all moving apps too, like sports and what you get a weather
Yeah,
app.
yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, they're all moving to those platforms. So at some point, what will cable TV actually have?
right.
You know what I mean?
If it'd be around at that point.
I mean, because the same thing about magazines. Nobody really buys magazines anymore. When I was a kid, man, I loved magazines. Man, I was cutting pictures out. I was pasting them on my
I was
wall.
too.
Yeah. Like nobody does that. And I thought about that too. Like growing up, I'm like, man, I used to have all my CDs. I had my boombox. I had my, you know. And I look at my kids. And I'm all like, y'all don't even have a poster on your wall.
Did you have a Walkman?
Hell yeah, I had a Walkman.
Those
Had
are
the
so
cassette
funny.
Walkman, and then I had the CD one. Heck yeah. And then, you
There's
know,
a CD one too. I didn't know that. I
damn,
didn't know that.
damn. And then they had the shock-proof one, you know, so that when you jumping and dancing and whatever, like it wasn't gonna skip because
Right.
it would skip.
That's so funny. I grew up
Yeah.
with the MP3 player. And then once
Dude.
the flip phone came out, we had to like record it to the TV if
That's
you wanted to get
hysterical.
ringtone. Yeah,
Nah,
I'm kind
man,
of
I
old.
had the cassette where we had to play it on the radio, and you had to play it, and you had to like wait. Like, all right, they're doing the introduction, and but then it was 2 buttons, right? Because you had to make sure both buttons were down, the record and the play button at the same time, or you know, you gotta wait for the song to come back on, or when you don't know that the song's coming back on, and you like run into your box to be like, I gotta get it, you know, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, so newspapers, magazines, TV, those are not ideal markets for a lot of businesses right now. Now, if you're an older, if your market is towards the older generation who still do that, then yes, it could be profitable for you. But the only time I think about the newspaper is if my kid is in it. If I know my kid, like kindergarten, they do like what I want to be when I grow up. They do like all the kindergartner kids in the Richmond Register. Literally the only time I remember about the paper. Be like, get the paper, get the whole thing, the whole stack, get them all. We got to give one to grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, like the whole pack, the whole stack right there.
Right.
That and like yeah, that's literally it. So now everybody has to see everything on Facebook, but then there's always, yeah, you can pay for your advertising, but doesn't mean you're gonna actually see it, or you will. But if you also don't understand the basics, again, this is going back to if you have zero money to hire somebody
Right.
to market or advertise for you, then you need to learn the basics of how to promote yourself on a platform, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, and what platform is best for you.
Exactly.
Or maybe you need to revamp how you advertise. Maybe it's not just like, oh, look, here's a mug I'm selling, buy it. why? Why this mug? Why do I gotta buy this mug? That one's cute. That one's got flowers in it, and it comes with sugar. You know, that's false advertisement. It doesn't come with the sugar. It just comes with the flowers. But you know what I'm saying? But now you have to. You know, this mug doesn't look very appealing. But if I was to do, I don't know. I'm not the greatest at TikTok, and you'll see I only have like 5 videos. I haven't touched that thing since last year. But I know I need to do it. Not necessarily to try to like promote, but just like for entertainment purposes.
Right.
And there's a lot of entertainment opportunities. You know, everyone's always like, well, I don't want to be in front of the camera. Like, nobody's asking you to be in front of the camera. Nobody is asking you to be anything than who you are. Again, authenticity. Okay, if you're not a big, chipper, perky, like, person, don't pretend to be. Work with what you got. I tell Bruce all the time, this is different Bruce. This is Celebration Station Bruce. But he has such a dry sense of humor that I'm like, use that.
Right.
How comical would that be? Because he's just so, like, meh, you know, that if he used that, people would be, they would find that so funny.
You know, that would be cool if you collaborate with Bruce and had him and Jax do a podcast together.
Oh my, yes.
And I just sit there next and hit record. Like, you guys can go whenever you want.
Right.
That would be the funniest and probably the weirdest podcast of all time. Because they both have dry humor, and it's a lot of yep. So
Yeah.
that would be the whole conversation.
Right. It should just be like a whole, like, what is it, King of the Hill vibe going on.
Yep, that's exactly what it would be. And I bet you that would get my most views, too. I know it would.
Oh my gosh.
That would be
You know
so
how many
fun.
times, wasn't it? No, it was Jax who said that we should figure out a way to have cameras set up to video all of the shops, look kind of like The Office.
Right.
Because
That'd be fun.
Yeah, he was like, you have it all here. He's like, you have every target market audience, and I'm like, we really do.
You just gave me the biggest idea. Because I plan on spending $600 to get 3 more cameras anyway, plus my webcam. That way, I can level up this podcast. I think the best podcasts have like the face view when you're talking, so people have a more intimate relationship when
I
they're
got you.
watching. Right here, it's like you can lose focus easy.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm just trying to reinvest in that. But once I get the camcorder, if I can get the places in here to agree to that, I would be here every Saturday recording you guys and putting together like a show, and it would be so much fun.
Listen, but it would be hysterical.
I would enjoy it quite a bit.
You're just gonna have to like, here, sign this waiver. And we're not gonna tell you when we install the cameras. But like, I do that normally though. When I when I think about the things that I say, and like I'll be telling stories. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but then I like pan to the right, like I have my own audience. Like,
I have noticed. You ever seen Fleabag, the show? No. You should watch it because that's you. Because she breaks the fourth wall a lot.
Yeah.
So whenever something's happened, she'll look at the camera and smile.
Yeah.
You remind me of that. The show is so good too.
I'm like, somebody's watching somewhere.
We've watched it twice in a row. Me and Chrissy.
What's it called? Feedback?
Fleabag. I think it's on.
Oh wait.
Prime.
Are you saying flea?
Yeah, like flea.
Like fleas?
Yeah.
And then bag?
Yeah, Fleabag.
Oh, I heard feedback.
Feedback?
I would have been like, Corey, I can't find the show. What are you talking about?
You know, it'd be fun for you and Jesse to watch. I think he would like it too. I don't know him well, but
Yeah.
it's a show that 81 would like.
He'll watch shows that I'm watching, but then we'll sit there and complain about how he doesn't want to watch the show. And then we'll sit there and be like, so what's happening? I'm like, well, if you stop talking and complaining about my show and just watch it. But then usually I'm too far like into a show to like explain it. Because then I'm like, well, then this person, because I can't just explain what's happening in the moment. No, I have to give the character history. And he's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I'll just start it over. It's fine. We just start it all over, all the way from the beginning.
You're nice enough. I won't start anything over for Chrissy at all. You have to watch her on your own. And then she'll end up not watching it.
Yeah, like, nah, you got to catch up on your own.
Unless it starts like popping off on the internet, then she'll be like, well, I got to watch it now.
No, see, I'm not like that. I don't jump on the bandwagon.
Well, you did the Game of Thrones bandwagon.
No. I didn't jump on that bandwagon. I was captured, hogtied, and thrown on the wagon. And my friend was like, "We're doing it." Yeah, because
So
I probably still wouldn't be on there. Oh,
we got
8:56.
4 minutes.
Damn.
Yeah, I went by fast.
Anyway, so the moral of the story for your marketing and your advertising is you have to find what works specifically for you.
Yep. And I'll say on my end, on an educated part of it is what I've noticed is you don't have to spend. I saw a comment on there from a business owner too about having to spend a lot of money.
Oh my God!
You don't
Last
have
year
to
we
at all.
spent on for the TV or whatever. We spent like $750. And
That's
I
too
mean, they
much.
sent me stats about like, oh, look how all these people are. The only thing I got out of that I appreciate was my commercial. My commercial's awesome.
Did they send that to you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have it posted on Facebook or something?
I do. Yeah, I'll have to show it to you.
Yeah, I like
It's
to see
awesome.
it.
I love it. A lot has changed since we've done that. That was last year. So we've grown a lot since that commercial. The commercial's still awesome. But not one person ever came in and was all like, oh, yeah, I saw your commercial. That's why I'm here.
Right.
And collectively, other businesses felt the same way too. So I have not been, what's the word? I have not, like, that's not an outlet that I think is my best marketing avenue.
I don't think it's anyone's, to be honest with you. Unless you're going to put it on Super Bowl, which is going to cost you way more than $750. Don't even. Like, I just had a client sign up for it. Now it's not my job to advise them to not to get something or to get something because I didn't get hired for that. But it's the same thing you got, and I was like, oh, here we go. It's rough, and hopefully it works out for them.
Yeah.
But for that though, I had a company. I worked for Madison County Memorial Garden. Do you know where that is? So I worked as the marketing manager over 3 offices. There's Danville here, and Somerset that I had to work over. And in 4 months, a monthly budget about $30. They went from no followers to 1,000 followers on a damn funeral company. So you don't have to spend 150 a month. But that's what people
And
usually
they're
think.
literally following the dead.
They're following the death, so I like
I'm here
that.
all night.
I'm getting down to the shirt.
Oh, snap.
Fair marketing can make you follow
Patent
the death.
pending. Trademark pending.
Yeah,
one of those pending.
I'm gonna trademark it before you try to get money on it. But yeah, like that's one thing too that people have to understand. I think like these apps, if you don't know what you're doing, will trick you into spending a lot of money because Facebook's like you can boost it here and get this many followers if you spend $30.
And whatever you're trying to boost has to be of quality too. Like if you
Right.
don't have all of the information that you need, they're going to take your money. They also have that stipulation where if there's too many words, they'll deny your post.
Oh my
And so
goodness.
you have to make sure that like 3/4 of your ad is picture based and not text based. But how are you supposed to get all that information out? Because
Exactly.
9 times out of 10, people aren't reading this essay that you're writing. They're looking at the picture.
Yep.
So you have to hit all of your main points on that picture. And if you forget something, sucks to be you because you can't go back and edit it.
Yep. So
Just make a note for next time.
when I do an ad, that's what I think of. It's like I think like a customer scrolling
Exactly.
by. So when I scroll through Facebook, what did I notice? I looked at the picture, and then I went back and read the description.
Exactly. And you have to think about, you've heard me say this, you have to think about your stupidest person. And I mean that with the kindest words imaginable.
Right.
But you have to think of the person who doesn't have common sense. Like, what's your address? Okay, well, everybody in this mall has the same address.
Yeah.
So what you need to know is your suite number. Well, if your suite numbers, nobody knows the suite numbers. Not even the delivery people. They don't know, even though every unit has the suite numbers on their windows, they still won't see that. So you have to be descriptive. So for me, I'm like, come through the main doors. The main doors are between Vineyard and Eagle Finance. Come around the bridal shop, right there. So you have to be descriptive in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it's so important. Those are things that you can learn for yourself, especially if you are going to hire somebody. if you have this much knowledge, that way when you are presented something, you don't have to be like, I trust you because I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I don't like that either.
Yeah, but you can go there and be like, well, you don't even have my contact information there. You don't have the dates. You don't have the location. You don't have whatever, whatever. Because just because they do that every day doesn't mean they're not going to mess up. You know, you
Right.
need that second set of eyes. But yeah, having basic knowledge for anybody, I think, is super important. And when you can afford to pay for somebody, do it.
And
That's an
whenever
investment.
you're paying for someone, make sure, for God's sake, make sure that they are worth the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of, specifically in my field, and they hate when I say this. There's a lot of them that
Talk a good
grossly
game.
overcharge and talk a good game, and then you don't get anything out of it
Right.
because they make a good, nice looking picture, and they'll charge an exorbitant amount of money to post on your behalf, and you get very minimum out of it, right? So you have to
Don't
be.
get suckered.
You don't get suckered, right? Don't do the TV ad. If they
Yeah.
come in here and
Don't
ask you
get
for the TV
suckered.
ad, don't do it, no matter
Yeah.
who you are.
Yeah, or you can even say that you'll think about it and whatever, but then if contact the other businesses that they've worked with, ask them specifically if it's worked for them. And case in point, the magazine people that came in, yeah, her presentation was really neat. You know, I like magazines. Again, older generation as far as magazines go. But when she came with the initial spiel, I had asked for a copy of the magazine. Well, at that point, she didn't have a copy, and I was like, red flag number one. And I was like, yeah, you've lost me at that point. I want to see what you are trying to sell me. If you can't show me, like, yeah, okay, you have this big elaborate presentation on this iPad and all of this. This is like I had to sit and watch a freaking documentary or whatever. And I'm like, it sounds great. Like, I get it. I went to school for design. Like, that makes sense to me. But if you don't have a tangible product, I can't just take your word for it right
That
now.
just
It's
scared
too
the
much
shit out of
money,
me.
too much of a commitment. And so she actually did bring me a magazine like a month and a half ago or something. And I was flipping through it, and Nerdscape was in it. This is before they closed. And so I was like, boom. So when I saw Becky, I was like, hey, let me ask you a question. I'm like, I see that you're in this magazine. How's it been working for you? And she's like, honestly, it really hasn't been working. We're actually going to talk to her about, like, bowing out of it. And I'm like, good to know.
Yeah.
Just because you don't know. You know, if it's not working for somebody else and your target audience may be similar or can piggyback off of, I didn't think it was going to work for me. So, yep.
Well, this is 9 a.m., so I'm not going to hold you up anymore.
We're past now. Whoops.
Yeah, your customers come flying in as soon as it opens.
It's true.
So thank you for watching Traveling Businessman and Golden Lease. Richmond Mall, 830
Eastern bypass.
Eastern Bypass.
Yes.
Really, that's all
Suite
it is?
B10. Yeah. It feels like it should be a lot lengthier, right?
Yeah, Eastern Bypass. Okay, cool. 830 Eastern Bypass. You can find her on Facebook. You have Instagram too, right?
Yeah. Golden
Instagram.
Leaves, KY. All over the place.
All over the place. You heard it. Come try the tea challenge.
Yeah.
Tasting tea challenge.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I've had 41, and there hasn't been, 42. There hasn't been a one I dislike at all. So
We'll look back through that book and see.
I can guarantee it. I think the only one
You have likes and then you have favorites is really kind of where it.
my favorite is the White Rabbit forever.
Oh, yeah.
Forever. I've tried them all, and I compare them all to a White Rabbit. I'm like, I'm gonna stick with mine.
That's funny.
So thank you for
beans.
letting us know for part 4.
Woohoo! I like it.
Did you like the last one?
I did. We'll have to bring back.